Today I want to talk about Arik Gilbert and his decision to commit to transfer to the University of Florida. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kidfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time today. I want to talk about Arik Gilbert, who announced on Sunday evening that he will transfer to the University of Florida after spending his freshman year at LSU. This is the latest departure in a long list of departures, both for the NFL, opt-outs, and into the transfer portal for Ed Orgeron's Tigers, as he has made changes on both sides of the ball, right? You saw Scott Linehan out, Steve Ensminger retired, bring in two dudes led by Jake Peetz, among them as offensive coordinator. And then on the other side of the ball, finally getting Durante Jones, the third dude, that they tried to go get to be the LSU defensive coordinator, following Marcus Freeman and an assistant with the New Orleans Saints. Turns out Sean Payton doesn't like it when Ed Orgeron keeps going down there to raid his staff, even if he did coach defensive line down there at New Orleans. The reason that Arik Gilbert is such a big deal is because he is the most valuable person in the portal, or was. 6'5", 250, and the first tight end ever to win the National Gatorade Player of the Year award after an outstanding season in Marietta, leading them to a state championship. You're also talking about the highest rated tight end in rankings history, according to the composite, and that's not a small thing. You thought perhaps with this decision taking as long as it's taken, that Arik Gilbert would decide to remain at LSU. He decided to opt out the last couple of games of the season. His mom came down there in Baton Rouge. He had said how homesick he was, and that was out there and being reported. And you thought perhaps Georgia might come into play over there because it's not that far away from home and because Georgia really wanted him. But after the way that they used Darnell Washington as a true freshman, who I think is the only talent on the level of Arik Gilbert, I can't make a great argument for why Arik Gilbert should have ended up at Georgia. I just can't do it. Darnell Washington is a freak athlete, 6'7", 260, and can move. You can line him up on the numbers. You can throw the ball to him anywhere. He was one of my non-quarterback breakout candidates for 2021. I'm going to drop that list here over the next week. But, suffice it to say, that man ought to be running college football the way that we saw Kyle Pitts was running college football. But rather than try to force Kirby Smart or Todd Monken into using him that way, he just went to Dan Mullen where they said, look at what we just did with Kyle Pitts. It's a tight end. It's a tight end that's going to get drafted in the first round. We lined him up everywhere, slot, outside. We tried to get that man the ball in as many places as we could, and he was unguardable. Now, is there going to be a different quarterback? Absolutely. Emory Jones, though, once committed to Ohio State, really was looking at Tennessee, ended up going to Florida. We thought Emory Jones was going to be the dude to usurp Kyle Trask after Felipe Franks went down. Didn't really work out that way, but you can see what Emory brings to the board in a way that Kyle Trask doesn't, and the stark reason is mobility. Emory Jones can move. He's also got a cannon for an arm. I'll be interested to see how those guys mesh. Add to that DeMarcus Bowman in the backfield, and now you got the offense to go along with the offense you had last year. You just still got a defense because Todd Grantham is still your dude. I really like Kaiir Lim. I thought that he should have been way higher on people's draft boards. And I thought that, knowing what we know about Kaiir and how he played corner in the SEC East, you can make an argument, you can make a case that between him, Marco Nelson, and a couple other dudes, you should have a better defense than you did. And that's going to be what holds Florida back in 21, is they don't have the defense, I think, to go along with the offensive output that they're going to, put up once again with guys like Arik Gilbert, DeMarcus Bowman, and Emory Jones. The other thing I thought was interesting about this is the biggest transfer that we've heard of, but there are lots that I could put up there. TJ Pledger going to Utah, Charlie Brewer going to Utah, Jaquindon Jackson going to Utah, Chris Curry going to Utah, Mookie Cooper going from Ohio State to Missouri. My goodness, Ryan Helinski going from South Carolina to Northwestern. I'm making an ongoing list of the dudes that I've been paying attention to and who have done a bunch of moving and shaking across not just the conferences, but across the country to different spots to try to figure out some playing time, specifically quarterbacks. Tanner Mordecai and Grant Calcaterra are both at SMU, right? To see this LSU squad lose this much talent, both to the NFL draft and to the portal, from Jamar Chase to Arik Gilbert, right? To Terrence Marshall to Kerry Vincent. And to know that they're going to have to revamp the entire defense, they're going to try to go back to the kind of offense that they were running in 2019. I also was looking at, what does LSU do? They put guys in the NFL, 14 dudes, right, off of that 2019 team. But the thing that bothered me most is Thad Moss did not go nearly as high as a Justin Jefferson, right? Didn't go at all. Undrafted, okay? You don't look at LSU and think tight end U. For that matter, you didn't really look at Florida as tight end U until the Urban Meyer era. And then Aaron Hernandez, who in a football capacity was elite. All the other stuff, yes, we could talk about that ad nauseum. And then you take a look at what Kyle Pitts done with Dan Mullen, and you could see how you can make an argument that Florida is not only going to put you in the NFL in that first day, right, those first 32 picks, but that Florida has a better chance of getting to the SEC championship than LSU, just because Alabama's over there. Ole Miss is closing the gap. Mississippi State wants to be better. Arkansas defensively is awesome. Got to figure out what the quarterback situation is and get Kendall Browse a dude that can run it, and then they'll be in the mix as well. Texas A&M is supposed to come out of the West this year. That's a lot of people's picks to win the SEC West. They just got to get past Bama. That said, LSU could win 10 games next year, right? But if they lose to Alabama and Texas A&M, what are we really talking about? And that's the problem that you're going to have at LSU as long as Nick Saban is at Alabama, which, we've been projecting won't be that long for years. And yet the man has won 6 national championships in 12 years at Alabama. And one of the most remarkable stats that I've ever heard in college football, if you played 3 years at Alabama during the Nick Saban era, you have a national championship ring, which is just wild, right? Knowing how many great players there are that travel around that never get an opportunity to play for a national championship. De'Aaron King at Miami, Bubba Bolden at Miami could be another one of those guys. There's so many examples of transfers working out, transfers doing well. There's even more where they don't. But I think with Arik Gilbert and the kind of talent that he is, and what I think could be the best pass catcher on that team next year, especially losing Kadarius Toney and Trevon Grimes, along with, yes, of course, Kyle Pitts, you had an opportunity to make some noise. South Carolina's going to be down. Vanderbilt's going to be down. Those got 2 first-year head coaches. Tennessee's going to be down. That's got a first-year head coach who's probably going to be facing sanctions. It's really Georgia, maybe Kentucky, because Kentucky's always going to be defensively sound. It's about, can they get it offensively together? It's kind of like the SEC East version of Arkansas right now. All right, that is it for me. Let me know what you think about the decision to transfer from LSU to Florida for Arik Gilbert in the comments below. And happy first day of Black History Month. Deuces.